The rain had no right to be this cold in July. Ethan Cross stood at the iron gates of Evergreen Memorial Cemetery, his tailored black coat already damp, his polished shoes sinking slightly into the wet gravel. Reporters, assistants, board members, none of them were here. For the first time in years, no one knew where he was, and he wanted it that way every year. On this exact day, Ethan came alone. No flowers ordered by a secretary. No driver waiting with the engine running. Just him, the silence, and the one place in the world that could still bring a billionaire to his knees. He followed the familiar path, counting steps without realizing it, until he reached the white marble headstone *** Lily Cross 2008, 2016 beloved daughter. Gone too soon *** his breath caught, the way it always did, but then he heard it a sound that didn't belong there, crying, not the quiet, respectful sobbing of a mourner passing through, but raw, broken crying. The kind that comes from deep inside the chest, the kind you can't stop even when you try. Ethan froze. Someone was kneeling by Lily's grave. A man in a faded gray janitor's uniform, his shoulders shaking, his head bowed. Beside him stood a little girl, no older than 5, clutching a small bunch of wildflowers. Her shoes were worn, her dress too thin for the weather, but her eyes were fixed on the grave with a seriousness far beyond her years. Ethan's first instinct was anger. Who dares? Who cries over my daughter like this? But before he could speak, the janitor whispered through tears, I'm sorry, Lily. I should have protected you better. Ethan's heart slammed painfully against his ribs. Protected her? He stepped forward, gravel crunching under his feet. The janitor looked up in alarm, quickly wiping his face. The little girl flinched and moved closer to the man, slipping her small hand into his. I'm sorry, sir, the janitor stammered. We didn't mean any disrespect. We'll go. No, Ethan said, his voice hoarse. You'll stay. The man froze. Ethan stared at him, searching his face for recognition. Nothing. He had never seen this man before in his life. Why? Ethan asked slowly, every word heavy. Are you crying at my daughter's grave? The janitor swallowed hard. I knew her, he said quietly. Ethan's fists clenched. That's impossible. The man hesitated, then looked down at the little girl. She knew her too, he said. Didn't you, sweetheart? The child nodded solemnly. She was nice to me, she said softly. She shared her crayons. Ethan's knees nearly buckled. Crayons? His daughter had gone to one of the most elite private schools in the city. Children there didn't share crayons. They had new supplies every week. Unless, start talking, Ethan said. Now. The janitor took a deep breath. My name is Daniel, he said. I used to work here part-time, but before that, I worked at the public library downtown. Ethan frowned. Lily never, she did, Daniel said gently. On Thursdays. You dropped her off with the driver, remember? You told him to take her somewhere quiet so you could finish meetings. Ethan's memory stirred uncomfortably. There were Thursdays. Days he barely remembered, blurred by contracts and conference calls. She didn't go to a tutor, Daniel continued. She came to the children's reading corner. She sat with kids who didn't have nannies or chauffeurs. Kids whose parents were working 2 jobs. The little girl squeezed his hand. She read to me, the child said. When my mommy was sick. Ethan's throat burned. My daughter, he whispered, was sick herself. Daniel nodded, tears filling his eyes again. She knew, he said. That's why she came. She said reading made her forget the pain. And she wanted to help other kids forget theirs too. Ethan staggered back, leaning against a nearby tree. All this time, all these years, he had thought Lily's world was small. Sheltered. Controlled, but she had built a secret one without him. Then the accident, Daniel said softly. The day she collapsed at the library. I held her while we waited for the ambulance. Ethan's breath hitched violently. She was scared, Daniel continued, his voice breaking. She kept asking if her dad would be mad she wasn't at tutoring. The words hit Ethan harder than any boardroom betrayal ever had. I told her no, Daniel said. I told her dad loved her more than anything. The little girl looked up at Ethan. Do you? She asked innocently. Ethan dropped to his knees. Yes, he whispered. More than my life. Rain soaked through his coat, but he didn't feel it. What about you? Ethan asked Daniel, barely able to speak. Why are you here every year? Daniel smiled sadly. Because when Lily died, I lost my job, he said. The library cut funding. My wife passed not long after. And this little one, he squeezed the child's hand, is all I have. He hesitated. But Lily, he said, she gave us something. Hope. Kindness. Proof that someone like her could care about people like us. Ethan looked at the little girl again. What's your name? He asked gently. Maya, she said. He reached into his pocket without thinking, pulling out his phone, then stopped himself. No money. No assistance, just him. Daniel, Ethan said slowly. Why are you a janitor now? Daniel shrugged. Work is work. I clean graves. I talk to people who can't answer back. It's quiet. Ethan nodded. I failed my daughter, he said quietly. I thought giving her everything meant protecting her. But I never asked what she was giving to the world. Daniel shook his head. You raised her kind. That's not failure. For a long moment, the only sound was rain and distant thunder. Then Ethan stood. Come with me, he said. Daniel blinked. Sir? Not as charity, Ethan said firmly. As purpose. Weeks later, the city buzzed with an unexpected announcement. Ethan Cross, Billionaire CEO known for ruthless efficiency, was shutting down one of his most profitable ventures. In its place, he was funding the Lily Cross Foundation, free libraries, reading centers, and healthcare support for children from struggling families. Daniel was appointed director. Maya was enrolled in a school Lily would have loved. And every Thursday, Ethan closed his office door. No meetings. No calls. He spent those afternoons reading to children in a small library downtown, sitting on the floor, crayons scattered around him. At Lily's grave, a new inscription was added beneath her name. ***. She taught us how to care. And for the first time since his daughter's death, Ethan Cross didn't feel like the richest man in the world. He felt like the luckiest, because through loss, he had finally learned what Lily knew all along, that the true measure of wealth is not what you keep, but what you give away.